Senator from South Carolina.
And may I just add to what Senator Cotton from Arkansas said. It's dangerous. I think it's disgraceful. It's irresponsible. And it's not going to work. We're not going to do this. So I think people on our side are willing to go big. For Republicans, that's not so easy in one day to spend all we're going to spend in a single year. We're going to spend about $1.8 trillion, probably closer to $2 trillion when it's over with, in one day. That's as much as we would spend in an entire year for discretionary spending. That's big. I'd like to go smart. If you're going to go big, you need to be smart, right? And you don't need to go crazy. The only reason we're not voting on this bill is because the House hijacked this process. Nancy Pelosi tried to control impeachment. She tried to set the terms of the debate for the United States Senate in the impeachment trial before she would send over the impeachment articles. Remember that whole debacle? And as we were dealing with this impeachment garbage, China was on fire. You'll hear more about that later in the year. But I guess what I would say is that we need to get on with it. You're not going to be successful. We're not going to let this happen to the American people. Rahm Emanuel, who I actually like, said, for every crisis is an opportunity. This is not your opportunity to impose same-day voting. In the House bill, they're requiring every state in the union, where you like it or not, to allow same-day registration and voting. I'd personally like to do that in South Carolina, not to combat the coronavirus. That's a dream that they have. This is not the time to enact that dream. If you're on a ventilator or you're a nurse at a hospital waiting on medical supplies, please go to tell them you can't get your stuff until the Republicans agree to same-day voting. They're literally holding hostage the relief for doctors and nurses, for towns and cities, for businesses who've had to lay off their workers, for same-day voting, for corporate diversity, for a $15 hour minimum wage. If you get a dime of money in your business under the House bill, you have to pay your employees $15 an hour. Literally, they're using this sad day in America to enact policies that wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell getting through the United States Senate. And they see this as a moment for them. We see this as a moment for you. They see this as an opportunity to do things they couldn't do without the country being on fire. To my Democratic colleagues, I will work with you to make sure that the money going to American corporations go to the right people. All of us don't want stock buybacks. All of us want to make sure that the money is lent, not given as a grant to the big companies in this country. All of us are willing to do more to help the states. We're willing to work on the problem. We're not going to be willing to take your legislative wish list and allow you to use this moment of crisis to turn the country upside down. I don't know why you want to do this. I know this. If we were doing this, the media would be eating us alive. If there were a House bill that Republicans are writing doing away with right to unionization, every major paper and TV station in this country would be talking about the Republican Party going nuts, trying to take an ideological agenda and attach it to a national crisis that we haven't seen since World War II. So, two things are going to happen. We're not going to give in because it is wrong. It corrupts everything about why we're here. We have worked with a House-passed bill that we didn't like because we needed to get something done relevant to the problem. To Speaker Pelosi, you see this as an opportunity to do things you couldn't do otherwise. Republicans see this as an opportunity to do things that have to be done now to save lives. I have never been more disgusted since Kavanaugh. You tried to destroy a good man's life just to keep the seat open. And close friends of mine in the House have publicly said, this is an opportunity to reshape the country and our image. It's not going to happen. We didn't let you destroy Brett Kavanaugh's life to keep the seat open, and we're not going to let you turn the country upside down to shape it in your image. We will work with you in a very generous fashion to help people who've lost their jobs, help doctors and nurses who've run out of supplies. Shame on you. Shame on you for coming in at the 11th hour, taking good faith negotiations, and throwing them in an ideological ditch. To the American people, they're going to give in because what they're wanting to do should make you mad as hell. If you've got a family member who is suffering, do you really think now's the time to impose same-day voting? Student loans. $10,000 loan forgiveness for every student loan in the country. That's a debate we'll have, but not on this bill. And let me tell you what it would cost to forgive $10,000 for every student loan in this country. About $500 billion. Here's the question. If you're going to spend $500 billion, wouldn't you want to spend it on the virus? Wouldn't you want to spend it on hospitals who are under siege? Wouldn't you want to spend it on businesses who are shut down and have no hope of opening up anytime soon? So we're going to hold our ground to focus on the people who need the help the most. We're going to say no to an ideological agenda. And I can't believe that we're having to do this. What the hell has happened? How could we get here as a nation? We've gone a long way from we're all in it together to this. So, to my colleagues on the other side, I am more than willing to work with you on unemployment insurance and all the things that are in this bill. I am not going to give in to the hijacking of the legislative process by the most partisan people in the country at a time people are dying. With that, I yield.